Hi and welcome to my channel. I'm V, and in this video I'm going to show you how to use a program called Dungeon Painter Studio and use it to create some great maps for your tabletop games. Want to see how it works? Well, let's take a look. Dungeon Painter Studio is a program you can find over on Steam. I purchased mine for about $15 total. This is one of those programs that I am still learning how to use, so this is not a complete tutorial, but it is showing you how easy it is to pull together maps using this program. I want to say I figured this thing out in about 2 hours. As long as you have time to play around with it a little bit, it is rather intuitive. So let's get started and see how this program works. The first thing I really like about this program is the variety you are going to get. So you have all these different categories, and within each category you then get more selections. So this is just the ground covering options that you have in this program itself. As you can see, in the one category you have this slew of options, yet if you toggle down to a different one, suddenly you have all these different floor patterns, and you can do both interior and exterior maps because of this. That was a big selling point for me with this program. I could do inside maps as well as outside based maps. So if you just go through, you can even see you have some roofs options as well for those larger outdoor maps. And then it's basically just a matter of coming across what it is you want to use. Along with the ground covering, you have different options in terms of moving, changing angles, changing scale, as well as providing different shapes that you need for your ground cover areas. And then as you move along, you get your lines, which are going to be your walls. And again, you can morph those shapes as you need it. And then the next part that I really liked were the objects. Again, a huge variety of the type of objects and icons that you can use for your map creation. I appreciated the fact that you could kind of go through different styles, depending on which category you landed on. It had a different look to it. So that again was a big selling point. So if there's a certain aesthetic that you want to capture, you can work with your options using those varieties. Once you get what you want picked out, it's very easy to start assembling your map together. And again, you have interior icons as well as exterior icons. To start the layout of your map, I first selected the rectangular form because that's what I needed. And as you can see here, you have this grid form, which really does help you plot out exactly what it is you need to do. Now, any editing you need to do as you're going along, you can do all of that on that right-hand side column. You can see all those options there. So I'm counting out the number of squares that I need to equal what I had in mind for the layout. Had that going. This is another option that I like here, is that if for some reason you don't like the way the ground cover looks, you can actually switch things around. That's super handy. It saves a lot of time as well. In this case, I did want to go with what I originally had. And so the other thing I did is, because I needed more space, is you can do a copy and paste option. So as you see, I did the copy and paste in that right-hand column, and look, I have another rectangle of the same size. And you can also scale in and out for your zoom, which means you can get the layout further zoomed out or in as needed. Again, a really great feature. So as you're doing the larger layout of your map, you can zoom out. As you get into the finer details of the layout of your maps, you can zoom in. And then this was another great option. You can group your pieces together so they work as one unit. Again, going to that right-hand side and clicking things. So I have my basic floor plan. I wanted to add in some chairs, so I picked the chair icon, and literally all you do is just click on that. Now, if you want to change the angle, go up to that left-hand side in the upper corner, and you can change your angles and rotate things. That was another big bonus for saving time and just toggling things through. So I want 6 chairs. Now I want to add a table. So I'm scrolling to the side at the bottom, and I'm looking for their table options. As you can see, again, a lot of different objects you can put to use here. And there are a couple tables, so I selected the one that was a little bit lighter in color, so it showed up better based off of that floor. Now, if you want to make the table larger, I found that you can actually layer them over each other, or you could also use the scale option and make it larger that way as well. But in this case, I didn't want it larger per se, I wanted it longer. So again, go through, click on the things you want to add. Let's put a rug there, and the bear skin looks cool. And that's really how you get the objects put onto your map. Again, walls are super easy. You're going to go up to those line areas, and I picked the straight and narrow line. I picked the wall style I wanted from that option, and all you do is click, drag, and click again, and your walls are created in this form. Keep in mind where you want to have doors, where you want to have windows, and you can leave gaps for those areas and fill in the blank after, which I'll show you in just a minute. But this is how I mapped out the walls on the map so that you can see where the individual rooms are. Now again, this is just a fun for play, goofing around map. This isn't something I'm putting to use, so I'm just showing you how this is all working. But that's basically how you can go through and start creating your rooms on the maps as well. Again, super easy, just leave those openings where you know you're gonna have doors, and that'll be a signal for you and the players to see how these layouts are working. If you wanna add in those doors, go back to the object button, which is that barrel icon, scroll down to your selection that you want, and you can see there are door options as well, which I just, clicked into the areas where I need them. Needed to change the angle, so I went up to the top, changed the angle there, so now it's turned on the vertical, clicked those in, and that's how I added doors into this. So again, very simple, very quick and easy to do. This was another big seller for me, the fact that you could put in text. So you go down to this text box in the lower left-hand corner, type in what it is you want to have basically as your text, and you put it into your room of choice. In this case, I'm labeling the ladies' bathroom. And again, go through and you just sort of place your text where you want it to be. The other feature I really appreciate about this is that even though you have the text typed in and placed, you can go back and edit it. And it's very simple to do. You just go to that right-hand column. Again, we have a list of everything you've put onto this map. Click on the text you want to edit, and when you do that, you can go back to that bottom left-hand side and toggle your text to the size you'd like it to be. Super simple, super easy. Again, this program is very intuitive. This is where the crafting part comes into play if you want to turn these into maps. So you're going to go into the save option and you're going to want to create a PDF. Now you do have these options to create JPEGs and PNGs for online programs. So in this case, I wanted physical PDFs. So you get these options in terms of scale and what you want to do. I selected standard page size as well as a standard inch grid on this. This means that it's going to create a PDF so that when I go to print this out, each page has a section of the map where everything is to scale of an inch, which means there's going to be numerous pages in this case. So you basically click all your selections, click OK, and it's going to start uploading. Once it's done, just type in whatever you want your file name to be and save it, and that will be your PDF. Now, if you want a smaller version, here's the trick. You're going to flip over to 1 centimeter, and you're actually going to bump up your desired page size. This is going to get your whole map onto one single page as a PDF. Click Create PDF again, and it's going to load. And once again, just make sure to save it so you'll have a large map as well as a smaller map. Now, this is the reason why I had the 2 different scales saved. So we have the 1-inch scale, which yes, you can print out and have a very large map so you can place it on the table. We'll get back to that in a minute. For the smaller one, what I did is I took that PDF file and then converted it to either a JPEG or a PNG, depending on what you want to do. I opted for PNG, but using an online program, I converted the PDF, and that now gives me a picture of the map that I can scale to whatever size I want in terms of giving as handouts to the players or using it for other sources. When it comes to assembling the larger map, do make sure you have a smaller version of the map as reference. This is going to help you with assembly. Now keep in mind, when this prints out, you are going to want to start organizing your pages so that you have it set up in rows. I found it helps to organize it in horizontal rows, group them together so you have your top row, your middle row, and your bottom row. You might have a couple middle rows depending on how big this map is, but working your way from the left-hand side of the map across to the right-hand side and then jumping down to the next set of rows. It just helps get everything lined up for you for preparation for assembly. Once you have that all done, we're going to start getting into the preparing the pages. To do this, you're actually going to want to remove the outside edges to your map, and you're going to leave the inside edges that are part of the map. This is going to be for pasting things together. So I'm removing the one outer edge to the upper left-hand corner using just basically your cutting mat, a nice strong metal ruler, and a sharp utility knife. I do recommend a fresh blade in this case so you're not snagging the paper. And once you remove those outer edges, you now have your first piece of paper ready to go with those inside edges there to act as anchors for the next bit of paper. Again, you're going to want to go back to your map and refer to the next piece you need to add on. And basically what you're going to be doing is doing the same thing as before, removing that top part of the portion of the paper as well as the side, left-hand side of the paper. Now that those are removed, you can see that you can fit these two pieces together, and that left-hand side tab that was left on the first corner, you're going to take just your basic stick of Elmer's glue, run it down that white portion, that's your anchor tab, and then carefully line up your edges of the map and start attaching them together. Do this carefully, do this slowly, especially with your first few pieces, because those are going to be your anchors for the entire map. And then just gently smooth things into each other, and that starts the map layout. I work across the horizontal from the top and then work my way down. As you can see here, I've gotten to the bottom. Again, same concept. This is the bottom corner where I am lining everything up, and I still had those tabs going the same way as everything else was lined up before. And then once you get things lined up, you can start adding in your other pieces. When you get into the interior portions, it's easiest to do the vertical tab first. Line it up as you can see here. And once you get that set and into place, go back with the glue stick and catch your horizontal tab across, and then smooth things out as you line it up for that side of your map. And basically you're working your way across again, and once you get to your end, you'll see again it's the same thing, and you'll just make sure you paste everything into place, allow it to dry completely, and you will end up with this nice large map for your table. And here is the final look of the 1-inch grid scale map printed out from the PDF that we had originally saved and assembled as I showed you. It's one of those things where this is something that can easily be rolled up, folded over if you need to, but for those traveling DMs who want to get a little bit of wow on the table but not have to bring a lot of accessories or terrain with them, this is a great option. This is actually something I'm going to be doing when I go over to do D&D in a castle at Caverswell Castle. Now, I did have another step to this just for durability. That is something that I'm going to show you right here, where I basically just plotted this out onto a couple of canvas panels. Very easy to do, and maybe something I'll show you later on. But you can either, like I said, roll this up, fold it over, put it onto these canvas boards, but it makes for a really great map on your table, and this program is actually really easy to use. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me. You can do so in the comments down below, or email me at thecraftingmuse.email@gmail.com. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I look forward to bringing you another craft soon. The map. Those of you with kids who watch Dora, my apologies, but maps. Hey, at least it's not notebooks, where it's a handy dandy notebook. Name those kids cartoons. Or shows, because I guess Blue's Clues isn't exactly a cartoon. It's debatable.